My name is Dr. Roberta Woodgate, and I'm a professor at the College of Nursing at the University of Manitoba. I worked with a number of researchers and practitioners on a study that aimed to understand how families of children with complex care needs participate in everyday life. And their needs involved a variety of needs, including physical, behavioral, and other disabilities. The job of being a parent is always challenging, but for parents of children with complex care needs, it is much more intense and it's lifelong. Like all parents in the study had to take on multiple roles, but the roles were much more specialized. Care work in general in society is undervalued. The intense nature of the work that parents of children with complex care needs do can have a tremendous impact on the health of them and the entire family. Parents need appropriate and timely supports and resources, as well as supports and understanding from people such as healthcare providers and employers. Children recognize and value the support and the work that their parents do. And as a society, it is time that we also recognize this work.
My family includes my older brother, Michael, my older sister, Erin, and my mom and dad. They've been nothing but supportive of me since I was born. They've always helped me in any way they can to achieve my goals or what I want to achieve. It's as simple as transportation somewhere or just everyday things that you can't always do yourself, but they're there to help you out with. Having a supportive family has definitely been key to me living my life the way I have and how I hopefully will continue to live. And they've definitely been the key to my success and the reason I've continued to stay positive throughout the whole process.
I still was hopeful that he was going to have a semblance of a so-called normal life for years afterwards, but eventually I realized that he was going to have the kind of life he was meant to have, and my job was to make sure that it was the best possible life he could have. I hate to say it, but the hardest part is accepting the fact that you have a 20-year-old, 2-year-old. Basically, you're looking after a large baby for the rest of your life, and that's hard cheddar. In a typical day when Dean is healthy and not in the hospital, you get up in the morning, do what you need to do, then you go and get him out of bed, change him, clean him up, start his feeding bags. When feeding is over, he gets his meds, then I take him to school, and then I go to work. I've been doing this for so long now, it's sort of part of the fabric of my life. It's hard to analyze and say what could make it easier. The hardest part is the mental stress, having to deal with medical professionals, dealing with the school, even the best intentioned program at a school, you sometimes run into problems. And then of course it's the constant worry because your kid is nonverbal, so are the people that are looking after him during the day able to interpret what he's trying to let them know? The only support system that is really in place at this point is we can call Dean's worker and say, we need home care for Dean on such and such a date. And if we're really, really desperate, we can call him and say, we need home care tomorrow. I don't think there's anything parents can't do, but in this province, we are expected to do an awful lot with very little when we're parents of special needs kids. We are expected to be speech therapists, physiotherapists, occupational therapists. The government will tell you that we provide all these things. What they do is provide you with an hour once a month during which you are supposed to learn how to do what someone else went to university for 5 years to learn how to do. And that is a huge frustration, and I know I speak for other parents of special needs kids when I say that.
There were certainly times where I felt down or I felt overwhelmed. Fortunately, those moments were usually fleeting, and after a decent night's sleep, I could wake up the next morning and face the day and realize things weren't as bad as I pictured them to be. Again, I've been blessed with a lot of good supports. My husband, his mother lives in town, so She was always very good at taking one or two of the kids, or all three of them if I needed a break.
I know Chris and I are really close, and I know I look out for my sister, and a lot of my friends with their siblings are not quite as close as we are.
Having Beth in the family kind of had to make us grow up stronger together, almost. I don't know necessarily why that is, but it just seems to happen with a lot of families that I know that have special needs in them.
When Mary was born, when we went to sick kids for her first heart surgery, 14 days later we were back in Winnipeg, and one of the first things that happened at the hospital when we got back is the hospital social worker gave us a document which basically showed all the stats as far as parents with special needs children and what effect they have on marriages. And it was some massively huge divorce rate of something like 80 or 90% of parents with children with special needs split up. And we also both work full-time, that we're actually such a small percentage of special needs families in a sense that are still married, still work full-time. Other families aren't like that. They're single moms, they're struggling to raise their child. It can be tough for a lot of people. For us to be where we are today was a combination of our love within our family, but also our employers that were willing to basically make some sacrifices themselves to allow us to be together, and of our friends and family to help us as well. That it really has, everything has to be just about in place to be able to go through it all. Having a child with special needs also means you have to have a gift for planning ahead for some things, because I know that for Gail and I, once we decided, okay, Bruce Springsteen's coming to Fargo, let's go see Bruce Springsteen. Well, before Mary, it would have been just a matter of, can we get tickets to go see Bruce Springsteen? Well, when you have a child like Mary who you can't leave at home, what we had to do is we actually had to drive down to Fargo 3 months beforehand to try finding, like, is there anybody that can look after Mary down there? We have to plan out washroom stops ahead. We have to find hotels, certain distances where we know we can get to. It was a 3-month effort just to go to a concert that, as I say, the vast majority of people, the hardest thing would have been going online and just getting tickets, and that was it.